So somewhat terrifyingly highlighting the elusive passing of time, it's already been over 3 months since Google delighted lovers of big things that you can keep in your pants by launching this here Pixel 9 Pro XL. A 6.8-inch behemoth that would even give old salad fingers a fair bit of bother if he tried using it one-handed. It's almost as chunkily massive and nearly as horrendously expensive as Apple's iPhone 16 Pro Max. But unlike Apple's blower, it actually comes with the AI features that Google's constantly banging on about in those obnoxious adverts. And hey, we've finally got some Android 15 action on here as well. So now that I've had 3 months to cozy up to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, here's my full review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, the Pixel 9 Pro XL is the biggest of Google's latest flagship lineup, and that's by no small margin. In fact, it's so stupidly huge that it played a significant part in worrying a proper big hole in my favourite pair of jeans. Basically, this and the iPhone 16 Pro Max have done a proper number on my wardrobe. And one-handed use is a proper liability at times, but you can just about get by using that generous camera bump as a kind of finger shelf. It's certainly a little bit precarious at times, especially when you're moving and using the phone at the same time, but it's certainly a lot easier with this than with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, say, for instance. And the fact that that camera bump is horizontal means there's bugger all rattle when you are using the Pixel 9 Pro XL on a desk or a table or whatever. But yeah, as one of the small-handed folk, I gotta say I do prefer the form factor of the standard Pixel 9 Pro. Now, I always get a bit nervous when a smartphone ships with no pre-installed screen protector, and sure enough, Google has made my guts gurgle with anxiety by leaving the Pixel 9 Pro XL display open to the elements. And despite that Victus 2 plating on the front ends, sure enough, after 3 months of fairly heavy usage, being chucked into bags, being squeezed into jean pockets with other phones, admittedly also stuffed in there at the same time, I do have a couple of quite obvious scratches on that front ends now. And likewise, there's a couple of light nicks down at the bottom of the arse end as well, which is also coated in Victus. So if you want your precious and pricey Pixel to keep on looking box fresh, I'd recommend slapping your own screen protector and case on there. And yes, this phone does require regular sleeve buffing because it does get disgustingly grubby, to the point where I've now got a complex. I'm sort of thinking I just attract dirt and grime like pig pen out of peanuts. So every time I pick up this ruddy thing, it just looks all greasy and ugh. Yeah, it's understandable here on the edges because they're shiny and glossy rather than matte for some reason. And unfortunately, that back end is also incredibly smudgy, as you can see there. Maybe it's just the black model, maybe some of the others aren't quite so bad. But all of that hand muck seems to instantly coat that surface, and it lingers as well unless you give it a proper good one of these. At least the phone is IP68 water and dust resistant as well, as you'd expect from a pricey flagship smartphone, so no worries if you do want to take it into the bath to do some TikToking, more likely some OnlyFansing, I guess. Now with the Pixel 9 Pro XL, Google has promised 7 years of OS upgrades and security support, and we've actually had the first OS update already. Well, that's right, kiddies, Android 15 is finally here, although to be fair, you might not even realize it's here because it does look incredibly familiar. So for instance, the Home app has improved and it's now more easily accessible via the lock screen. Although notifications have been strangely hit and miss here on the Pixel, so sometimes I haven't received an alert whenever my video doorbell has detected motion, whereas I have continued to receive alerts on other smartphones with Android 15. And thankfully, that seems to be one of the very few bugs that I've actually come across in Android 15 in my few weeks using it here on the Pixel, so I guess I can't complain too voraciously. Oh, and that passkey experience has been mercifully improved for Android 15 as well, so it no longer makes you want to drive your car at high speed into a concrete f***ing wall. And you've got new security and privacy features stuffed in here as well, including private space, which allows you to just add an extra layer of security on any apps or files that you really don't want people to access. It's for the truly paranoid or those with something to hide. And one feature which I bloody love is the updated audio menu, which allows you to quickly swap to your smartphone speakers for audio if you're connected to a Bluetooth speaker or headphones. Found this is incredibly handy for those family video chats, which I usually conduct wearing headphones. If somebody else comes along, decides they want to just quickly say something to whoever I'm nattering with on the phone, because I'm not toggling Bluetooth constantly. There doesn't seem to be much new AI stuff, at least not yet, in Android 15, which is quite surprising considering just how voraciously Google has been banging on about it for the last couple of years. They're not necessarily front end. One new feature, however, which does use AI is the theft protection feature. It's not theft prevention, sadly, so if one of those outrageous cockwombles on a moped scoots on by and nicks this thing out of your hands, the Pixel 9 Pro XL can't taser them into oblivion. What it can apparently do is realise that the phone is now no longer in your hands, it's moving down the street at high speed in a juddery fashion, and lock down just to be sure. You've got the likes of offline device lock, remote lock and everything as well, and you can also find and erase your device even if it's not in your hands. And hopefully that'll work just fine. I've been fortunate enough not to have been mugged in the past 3 months, so yeah. You've still got all those really useful bits like Gemini, Circle to Search, and the excellent Screenshots app, which allows you to quickly scan through all of your saved pics for any info. Sadly, there's still no web page summary tool built into Chrome, at least not here in Blighty. That's one thing I'm still waiting on, and one area where Oppo has actually beaten Google to the punch with its very own web page summary tool, which does actually work in Chrome. So overall, yeah, Android 15 does feel like a soft upgrade, not a fully fledged new edition. But hey, it's like sprinkling bacon bits on your pork scratchings. The pork scratchings were perfectly great to begin with. The bacon bits just add a little something extra. Pork on pork, baby. Now the Pixel 9 Pro XL's Super Actua OLED display is a bit of a banger. You've got a 1344 by 2992 pixel resolution, so it may be a big bugger, but at least those visuals are still pleasingly sharp, if not quite as crispy as the regular Pixel 9 Pro. Color customization is limited and tones are a wee bit more subdued compared with some rivals like the Oppo Find X8 Pro and the S24 series, but HDR video still looks slick enough. And likewise, while the Pixels panel isn't quite as bright as some other premium phones, I never struggled to read messages or anything on those rare days that I escaped the studio and it was actually sunny outside. Occasionally that screen can be a wee bit too bright when you're using it indoors. The automatic adaptive brightness doesn't scale it down quite enough for my tastes, especially if the previous night happened to involve, say, half a bottle of Hibiki. You've got LTPO text, the refresh rate scales all the way down and all the way up to 120 Hz. Certainly that UI feels nice and sleek and slick and smooth. However, the PWM dimming is rather limited compared with a lot of other flagship smartphones, so if you are sensitive to the flickering on OLED displays, then you might want to look elsewhere. Personally, I'm not affected by it, so I can't really comment on it in any way. As for those stereo speakers, well, they got a proper kick to them, so I'm happy to leave those headphones off if I'm just watching a quick bit of dan-da-dan or whatever else on a break. But for music, absolutely still slap on the headphones because those speakers are good, but they aren't that good. So then there's the matter of performance, and it's the Tensor G4 powering the Pixel 9 Pro XL, which seemed to do a pretty good job back when I first started reviewing this thing, but how has it fared and has Android 15 made a difference? Well, not really. I've noticed pretty much zero dodgy behavior with everyday type shenanigans. The camera app's nice and nippy and responsive, multitasking's creamy smooth. Unfortunately, when you do get gaming on the likes of Wuthering Waves and other intensive memory guzzling titles, the performance isn't as slick as a lot of recent rivals. And that goes double for the fresh batch of Snapdragon 8 Elite smartphones, which are just starting to leak out here in Blighty. Don't get me wrong, these games are still perfectly playable even when you boost up the graphics settings to higher levels, but you will notice frame rate drops here and there. Action can get a little bit juddery, which is a wee bit distracting, although thankfully nothing too terrible. And while the smartphone certainly gets warm after you've been gaming for a good sort of 30-40 minutes, the Pixel 9 Pro XL never heated up to the point where it started absolutely dropping on its arse. And sadly, one feature which I hoped would get a serious bejazzling for Android 15 doesn't appear to have been really touched at all. The gaming mode. Very few titles still appear to be optimized. You've got achievements and leaderboards again for a selection of games, and then of course the YouTube live streaming, and then beyond that it's just, you know, notifications blocking and basic stuff like that. So pretty threadbare stuff. But when it comes to the battery life, the Pixel 9 Pro XL is still a proper cracker. Battery capacity just over 5,000 milliamp hours. The Tensor G4 is pretty energy efficient when it comes to certain tasks like YouTube streaming, etc. And in my entire time testing this thing, I haven't managed to kill it dead in a single day. I did come very close one day when I woke up in Amsterdam at 5:30 a.m, still very much merry from the 11% whiskey beers we were drinking the night before. Travelled all the way back to the UK doing a lot of video streaming, a lot of music streaming in the background as well, and got back home, decided to watch the Sunderland match in the evening, streaming the entire thing again on the phone, which proved to be a very bad idea, not because the phone battery was dying, but because it's Sunderland, and the hangover was well and truly kicking in at that point as well, which wasn't ideal, but eventually staggered to bed at just before midnight. So even with around 7 to 8 hours of screen on time and probably about 6 or 7 hours of Spotify and Audible streaming in the background, it was still only down to around 10%. That's one of the best results I've had from any smartphone recently outside of the likes of the Oppo Find X8 Pro. Of course, the charging speeds are still rather pitiful on this thing compared with, again, a lot of rivals like the Oppo Find X8 Pro. Plug this thing in if it's more or less fully drained and it'll still take about an hour to charge, right up just over an hour in fact. So you really don't have the luxury of just bunging a cable in it for 10 minutes where you quickly have a shave and a whatever else before charging out for a evening on the town. As for the wireless charging, well, you got 23 watts Qi wireless charging support on here, just regular Qi, not Qi 2. Again, the least you'd expect, and yes, pretty slow, again, compared with some alternative options. So let's end this smashing 3-month review with a squint at that camera tech, and it's a triple lens setup on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. And what we're dealing with here is a 50 meg primary shooter backed by a 48 meg ultra-wide snapper and a 48 meg telephoto zoom lens with 5 times optical zoom. And I do get on really well with Google's camera app. It's nice and easy to use. You can flick between photo and video modes with a quick poke down here. You've got all your other features down here at the bottom, including portrait mode, night sight mode, etc. And you can swipe up the rest of the camera settings with a quick flick, and dedicated Pro controls too. If you want to boost the resolution to the maximum amount, you can also shoot in RAW. The main bugbear here is the lack of burst shoot, and if you long press the shutter button, it does just start recording a video, sadly. Hopefully that'll be added back in at some point. And the main takeaway from the past few months of shooting with the Pixel 9 Pro XL is that it's more dependable generally than other flagships when it comes to natural looking photo capture. And that's regardless of how dodgy the lighting is, and despite the fact that you've got a fresh supply of highly capable rivals now emerging. Skin tones in particular really shine, while food looks just as delicious on that screen as it did in real life. Plus, HDR situations only result in a slight brightening of darker areas. You don't get full-on saturation like what you'll get with the likes of those bloody iPhones. That said though, I still have had to bin some snaps that I've shot of my kid in more ambient conditions, especially when said kid has been absolutely off her tits on Haribo. And likewise when I've been shooting fellow humans who are several whiskies, or indeed whiskey beers, to the wind. And yes, these photos are often beyond the help of any unblurring AI photo editing tools. Portraits are another highlight on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, especially using that telephoto snapper. You get some eye-pleasing bokeh action, and the Pixel only occasionally blurs the edges of your subject. But certainly around 9 times out of 10 you'll get a great looking pic. Even though the Pixel 9 Pro XL lacks a pair of telephoto shooters, this almighty blower does still do remarkably well when you're punching in around the sort of 3 to 4 times level before the telephoto lens takes over. And I still found that my pics were generally crisp and finely detailed, and of course, sporting those natural tones. And the ultra-wide shooter also a sterling effort, capturing similar pics to the main shooter in terms of tone, texture, etc. And another absolute highlight of the whole photo camera experience here on the Pixel 9 Pro XL is the editing smart as well, using of course, what else, good bit of AI shindiggery. So you've got all the classics on here, the likes of magic erasers, so you can just get rid of anyone lurking in the background of your photos. Boom, off your f***. Of course I've gone and left his legs in there, so I should probably try and get rid of that, otherwise that's going to look like we're having a nice drink in some sort of murder bar. There we go, that's better. And of course you've got the likes of the auto frame, etc. Basically loads of tools to spruce up your pics with bugger all effort from yourself. As for shooting video, well, again the Pixel 9 Pro XL does a pretty solid job. You do need to drop to 30 frames per second if you're capturing 4K HDR footage here, unlike recent rivals like, hey, the Find X8 Pro. And here it is HDR10 rather than Dolby Vision. Although technically the Pixel 9 Pro XL can also capture 8K footage by basically uploading all of your video to the cloud and then processing it and upscaling it. A process that can take a wee while, so you'll need to be patient. Personally, I haven't really bothered using that very often at all because I think the 4K footage looks crispy enough. More useful is the video boost feature, which can help to clean up, brighten up and sharpen your night and low light footage. Yeah, certainly the Pixel line is catching up to other rivals when it comes to video capture. Those visuals are crisp and clean in most conditions. And the audio capture absolutely fantastic as well. And once again, easily tweakable after you've shot a video. All you got to do is once again head into the editing tools, then click on audio and audio eraser. And as you can see there, the AI Smart R3 can differentiate between different people speaking in the background as well as weeding out those crowd noises, so you can basically nullify those, make them nice and quiet. As for selfies, well, they look absolutely fine as well, as long as your hand and your face are both steady when the lights are low. Otherwise, you'll once again likely end up with a blurry effect, which goes twice if you've had a skin full of sambuca. And the video situation is exactly the same with that selfie cam as the rear setup, so 4K at 60 frames per second or 30 FPS if you want the HDR smarts. The stabilization could be a little bit better. It's not too juddery if your hand is shaking about the place, but I've certainly seen better. And there you have it, my lovelies. That is my full final frank review of the Pixel 9 Pro XL after having a good old play with it for 3 months now. And while my heart will always go out to the regular Pixel 9 Pro and that more compact form factor, gotta say I did really enjoy my time with the XL. It's great to see that Android 15 is finally there, even if it does feel like a soft upgrade compared with some other previous versions. There's not really much to moan about here beyond, the gaming performance not being quite up to snuff compared with other flagship rivals. Certainly the battery life is excellent. The camera results, as I say, is some of the most natural looking photos that you'll get from any smartphones out there right now. And as usual with the Pixels, it's a case of, pretty good hardware just married up with some excellent software that really helps elevate it to the next level. That's what this hairless northern twat reckons anyway, but what do you guys reckon of the Pixel 9 Pro XL? If you've been using it as your full-time smartphone, it'd be great to hear your own mini review down in the comments. Please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.